Hey, welcome back. Let's talk about a major blow to Health Secretary RFK Jr.'s vaccine agenda.
Yeah, a federal judge blocked the recent overhaul of the childhood vaccine schedule and stalled his remaking of a key vaccine advisory panel. Here to walk us through this is Dr. Anahita, surgeon and founder and chair of Healthcare for Action. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I wanted to read you part of District Judge Brian Murphy's ruling here. This is a Biden-appointed judge. He said, quote, "The court concludes that in addition to being contrary to law, the issuance of the January 2026 memo was arbitrary and capricious because it abandoned the agency's long-standing practice of getting recommendations from ACIP before changing the immunization schedules without sufficient explanation." What do you make of the judge's ruling here, Dr. Dua, and what do you think the impact will be, both in the short term and the long term?
Well, this is the reason why America is such an amazing country, because at the end of the day, we are a country of laws. And there are some very boring administrative laws that are what keep our country safe. And this is one of them. Really, what the judge had an issue with here was process, not what was actually coming out of the ACIP meeting or what the actual rulings were from the Kennedy group. The judge said the way in which you have come about these rulings is ineffective, inappropriate, because you didn't follow the way in which we should go through the scientific process. And the impact that this is going to have is it's going to stall future meetings. There's supposed to be a meeting coming up actually on Wednesday and Thursday. Those will not happen. And this will likely go through the courts. And the Trump administration has even said it may see the Supreme Court. But the good effect of this is that it's going to allow scrutiny as to how we got to this point and where we're supposed to go with the vaccine schedule.
You know, the judge noted, as he made the ruling, that only 6 of the 15 panelists appointed by Kennedy appear to have any meaningful experience in vaccines. As a doctor, How does that land with you?
That actually is something that we've been saying from the beginning. It is really important, regardless of what side you fall on, that you are based in science. That's all that anyone is really asking for. A well-balanced panel that can have a real discussion about the evidence. And the evidence, of course, is absolutely overwhelming that vaccines save lives. Unfortunately, right now, for the first time since the turn of the century, we have seen more measles cases than ever before. So we know that there's a lot of science behind this, 100 years worth, and where we should be looking. And the current committee, the one that RFK put together, did not have that experience and therefore did not have the wherewithal to tell us how we should be managing vaccines.
HHS spokesperson Andrew Nixon responded to that judge's ruling, writing, HHS looks forward to this judge's decision being overturned, just like his other attempts to keep the Trump administration from governing. We know the dropped recommendations said that babies should be protected, the change in the dropped recommendations that all babies should be protected against hepatitis A, B, RSV, dengue, 2 types of bacterial meningitis. What have you been seeing? What have you been hearing from your colleagues in terms of that doctor-parent-child relationship with all the uncertainty surrounding the vaccine schedule?
Well, the big thing that we've been hearing is that people have now had distrust from the medical community and distrust about what vaccines to take. And it's not that people are standing up and saying, oh, I'm not sure if my doctor is right. People are standing up and saying, I don't know what is right from the CDC side. I mean, these are institutions that we expect to be correct, and then we look to for guidance. And when there's discord in these institutions and there's uncertainty in these institutions, it basically casts a shadow across everything. So it takes a mom who's new to the job, so to speak, and already is confused about what's right and wrong and just adds to her plate, makes things more confusing. And that's what we're hearing from our colleagues. The good news is from the medical community, there's really been no shift. From the beginning, we know what the science says. We're taught it in school. We read it ourselves. We keep ourselves up to date. And so when the parents come in and they have that conversation with us, we are able to still advise them appropriately. The problem is that it's just advice. And ultimately, the parent has to make the decision. And they, too, are looking at places like the CDC. So that's really unfortunate that, unfortunately, these people are now confused about what to do next.
You know, it was so interesting because government lawyers had argued that Kennedy and the committee had unreviewable, which is basically absolute authority when it comes to making vaccine policy, but none of them, or very few of them, had any foot in the medical establishment. What are people supposed to get from that?
Well, basically, we're supposed to get that we have a panel of people who don't really know what they're talking about. Because at the end of the day, if you don't understand the science, you don't understand how you get there and why you get there, then you are going to make decisions on emotion. Emotion has no place in science, no place. Because the problem there is that you'll do what you feel is right, and what you feel is right can cause the death of babies, quite literally in the case of measles, as we're already seeing. There was a death again just last week from encephalitis, which is something that happens when a child gets measles and is completely preventable, completely in 2026. So when you have a panel of people who do not have the science roots, what you're going to get is basically garbage in and garbage out, because it's going to be what people feel about the process, not what people can think about it, because they don't have the facts.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. We'll continue to watch this case as it plays out. Dr. Dua, thank you so much for joining us yet again. We always appreciate the insight.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, America.